You can't make stuff up that happens in the medical world. And so nobody could ever tell me that it won't ever happen to them. That phrase does not even enter my mind in life in general. Anything can happen to anybody at any time because life is that fragile and we never know what will happen. And I think living the emergency world life for so long completely does impact the fact that I know anything can happen. Share what you know, you will save a life.
Share what you know, you will save a life. That's not a tagline. For today's guest, it's the entire point. Welcome to the Swimpreneur Diaries. I'm your host, Londi Johnson. Today, I'm joined by Miss Julie, founder of Water Safe Swim, celebrating her 26th season. She's worked in the ER and is even an EMT. Julie is one of the most mission-driven people I've ever met. She spent over 2 decades building something that was never about growth just for growth's sake. It was always about reach. And in this episode, she challenges every aquatic professional listening to think beyond the pool deck. We shared many laughs and lots of emotions. Let's dive in. You've been in the industry for 25 years now?
Yes, this is season 26. So I did it, I pushed, and I did a whole bunch of fun things, different things, more community events, more collaborations. I made some really intentional collaborations. And so it was a fun way to celebrate. And everybody was on board. A couple parties at the house where I teach lessons, and a lot of people showed up. It was fun. We had a good time. Yeah,
Oh, that's
it was good.
sweet. So cool. You have a lot on your plate. Tell us about that.
I have 6 children. The oldest is
Okay.
28 almost, and the youngest is 16. And so there's a wide range. I only have the 16-year-old that's left in high school, so that will be a nice milestone in a couple years when she's done and I'm done with general academics as school
Yeah.
system, have that off my plate. But yeah, we've raised 6 kids. I've been teaching for this is season 26. I've also worked in the hospital environment in the emergency room in my local hospital here in Lodi, California, which is the local bigger city. And I worked there for 13 years, almost 13 years in the emergency room. And I'm an EMT, which I've used my skills in the emergency setting. And gosh, I'm involved in all my kids did sports and different clubs and, all of that kind of mom life. So my husband was born and raised pretty much here in this area. He works here in the area. So we have built a nice life here, but it is busy.
Mm.
Good
Yeah,
busy.
yeah,
Yeah.
super busy. How do you manage it all?
Carefully, and sometimes I don't, like everybody else. Sometimes we take days to just breathe and reset, and I love being home. Home is my place. All the kids come home weekly for family dinners, and we have lots of celebrations through the years of birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. So I love that. I love to create and make something special for our family.
Are you still an EMT? Do you do that
I
full
am.
time?
I'm still an EMT with my license. I am not actively working right now. I actually resigned from all of my medical side of career, I think for good. I might go
Mhm.
back at some point, but I think I resigned for good
Mm.
almost a year ago, last June. And
Okay.
that was heartbreaking decision to make
Mhm.
because I love it. And one of my huge passions is in emergency care, but I had to let something go. So you asked how I handled all of it. Well, that was something that I needed to let go so that I could focus on just my family and on teaching and putting more time into swim or just having being more present in swim. I'm not doing more time. I'm trying to actually do less time in swim, but being more present and giving more of myself, not being so strung out and,
Mm.
in all different directions. So that was what I chose that I needed to let go and be done with for my career. So, but I'm going to keep my license because my license is good. Occasionally I do football games in the community or things like, people that need a volunteer EMT. I'm always happy to do something like that. So,
Oh, that's sweet. That's cool that you can keep both and do both. This episode is brought to you by the Swimpreneur Launchpad. When I started teaching swim lessons, I didn't think I was building a business. I just knew that I loved being in the water and working with kids. But over time, I realized something. A lot of swim instructors are sitting on an opportunity they don't even realize. They're teaching lessons here and there, maybe after work or on the weekends, but they don't have a pricing system, a booking process, or a real way to grow it into something that's sustainable. And that's exactly why I created the Swimpreneur Launchpad. It's a 3-month mentorship where I help swim instructors turn their lessons into a real business. Yes, even while they're still working their 9 to 5 or in school. Inside, we cover everything from naming your business and setting your pricing to building your booking systems, getting clients, and creating something that can eventually replace your job. if that's the path you want. We keep the group small so I can work closely with everyone. The waitlist is now open for the next cohort. If you want to join, just click the link in the show notes to get on the waitlist. I'm curious, what was it that you don't have to give a reason as to why you left, but do you feel like one was your calling more than the other?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
I think they both mesh together. They both really speak to who I am, and I am passionate about both.
Mm,
Probably the reason I chose to leave at the time I did was the hospital that I was working at, that I've always worked at here in Lodi, went through a whole bunch of changes, and the environment became different. And so it was a little bit simpler for me to choose that
I see.
that was where I needed to step away from. And maybe not that I feel like one is more than the other, but I definitely feel like I am much more well known in my community for swim. I miss
Mm.
Julie. Anybody who talks about water safety, most people know me or will refer me. And that last year became really, really obvious to me. Most would probably think I would have noticed that or accepted that years ago after
Mhm.
being in this. I've been in this community for 22 years.
Oh,
So I
wow.
moved up here from Carlsbad. I was in Carlsbad for the first part of my water safety part of my career, and then I moved up here. And you would think that I would have realized that sooner. And I knew that, but last year it really hit me. And so I decided I needed to let the ER life go and just focus and be able to give more of what I wanted to give to swimming.
Yeah, I ask that because I meet people that transition from one career to the next, and they always feel like swim was their calling or that's where they belong. But I left my teaching career after I got a master's degree, and it was really hard for me to come to terms with leaving it because one, because I just put all this time and energy
Oh,
and
yeah.
money into a career that I thought what I was going to do. But also, I felt like that was equally as important to me.
I probably would be exactly what you just described. It was really
Yeah.
difficult to choose and give that up, but it was the right thing to do. And
Mhm.
then, as life always plays out, a few things happened at the hospital that confirmed that it was a good time that I chose to leave.
Mm.
And I've been able to do a little bit more that I really wanted to with swim, and that has made me really happy. This kind of my off season, or my office season, I call it, because it's my office
Yeah.
time, and then my water time because I choose not to teach year round. So I teach April through September generally, and I used to teach year round, but
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not a fan of indoor pools, so that's why I don't right now.
Okay. Was there a time last year where you realized, like, this is more than just swim? Like, there's a bigger overarching theme or purpose to this?
I have always felt that way, and one of the prompt questions was about, like, when I train instructors. Something I've learned is I am not unique, I'm sure, but I am different from those of the water safety instructors of different companies that are in my area or that I've
Yeah.
known over all the years. It's never been a career to me. It's always been because I'm passionate about helping other people. And my service oriented self just wants to be helpful and do things for other people. And so last year, positive and negative, I realized that unfortunately my husband and I are not I don't know what you want to call it. We're not like self-made millionaires that I can just donate all this time and money to the community. So I had to take a
Mhm.
little bit of a step back and decide, okay, I can't just keep giving and giving and giving. I have to choose what I'm going to give to. And so walking away from the hospital gave me that opportunity to really be more intentional, be more focused, spend more time in choosing where I put my resources and what things
Yeah.
I'm going to do to educate and donate to the community, time wise, especially, but also like monetary wise. How much can we donate and give to others? And so that was a really good outcome of me choosing to focus more on my water safety and water safe swim as a program and put my efforts there.
Yeah. That's really cool. So you don't just give back in your time, you give back financially, but you take time to really see where you're going to give back. So you're not just depositing into all these things, like you're being
Yeah.
intentional with where you're getting back your time and your resources.
Yeah, because I feel like that spread me really thin over the
Yeah.
years and just giving. And so now, yeah, definitely more planning. Definitely, I have more time to give thought, better thought, and really be not choosy and picky. I still am doing a lot of things more than many of the other instructors that I know. But the community part of this teaching and water safety for me has always been huge. And I just think that goes back to the fact that, like you, teaching kids is a service job. You do get a lot back, but you're giving to these kids, especially high schoolers and middle schoolers. That's a crazy
Yeah.
age. And so when you're more in a giving environment of a job or a career, I feel like, I don't know, that's where when I started doing water safety and teaching, my focus has always been educating. I've always taught in the pool at the same time, but I would love in my career as I get to the ender side, that's not a word, but to the end part of it, that I could get more out of the water, a lot more out of the water, and just put resources into the community and spreading awareness and doing collaborations to just
Yeah.
get the information out there. So that's my goal
That's super sweet.
as I get older and I can't teach
Very
anymore.
sweet. Yeah. Tell me about what kind of things that you do. Like, how do you partner? How do you collaborate?
So I have always done, like, early in my career, way back in Southern California, in Del Mar, we did like a home and garden show. I've always done like all kinds of things, but preschools and kindergarten classes, and I've done home shows and garden shows. I've done water safety demonstrations. We've done community events where I partnered with like a local gym, and they've done raising, like awareness for just kids' safety in general, and then I partnered with them as the water portion of it. We have a community affair that I've done the last couple years. It's like a street fair, and so
Mhm.
I've done those things where I'm giving out educational material. I've partnered recently, I started partnering with real estate agents because real estate agents sell homes with pools to all kinds of different people. So I partnered with real estate agents. I've done one of my favorite collaborations I did is with a pool company that does like pool cleaning and servicing because those people go into people's homes all the time. And so I've done lots of education to like the group of service men that go out into homes, and I'll educate them, give them information, and remind them that they are a super good layer of defense against water tragedies because they can talk to the homeowners and share information. So, all kinds of things that I've just really broadened where and who I can collaborate with
Yeah.
because there's so many more people that are actually involved in things to do with water. Local boathouse, we have a lake and waterways here where we live, and there's a local boathouse. And so partnering with them to talk to them about giving out water safety information. Fire departments, I'm sure across the board, it's difficult. The medical field is really difficult to break through. But trying, I have a couple pediatricians nowadays. They have these
Mm.
pediatricians that aren't with any like insurance or any group. They just are in business for themselves, and they've been amazing to take information and give it to their families that come to them. So that's been a huge breakthrough because getting into like the Sutter system or the American, like all of the different healthcare systems, Kaiser's, nobody wants to take water safety information from anybody, really.
Yeah. I've noticed that it's really hard to get into the medical system.
Yeah.
And we can go down a rabbit hole of
Oh
reasons why
yeah.
that could possibly be, but yeah, it's really hard. But I've actually noticed so many doctors going independent recently.
Hmm.
I've seen like this new model of pay monthly subscriptions for your
Yes.
own pediatrician. There's one in Las Vegas that does it. I think her name is Andy Singer, but she has like her own pediatric collective and it's like a membership fee that they
Yes.
pay. And it's amazing that people are taking that extent to really personalize the medical world.
Yeah, I love it. We have one, Dr. Balduzzi is here in Stockton, and she does house calls. You have a brand new
Mm.
baby, you don't take the baby to the office. She comes
Yeah.
to you. Amazing. I think I love that trend in medicine because it brings it back to being personable again. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I lived the healthcare life, it's not that way. It's become
Mm.
so far from what it used to be. And I love that there are doctors that are doing that.
You have a motto that's on your website.
Share what you know, you will save a life.
Yes. Is that like rooted in everything that you do?
It is, it'll make me
Mm.
emotional. 100% I've learned in my life that everybody has something that they can share that I can learn and benefit from.
Yeah.
It may not hit me the same every single time, it may not hit every single person, but sharing what we know, in my opinion, 100% can save and will save a life. And so I've used it in swim from the beginning. And because again, if somebody shares that they know about water safety to somebody else, you never know if that person if they do a water safety class or if they choose to do layers of whatever layers they are, that could save that child's life. And so sharing that we know anything about water safety is important, but it's also impacted my life in so many other ways, so many other experiences on all different levels. People have shared something with me that I wasn't aware of, and it's benefited me, or literally there have been times that saved my life and or people that I love and their life in whatever regard it was. And so it's become my motto across the board in my life, and it's something that I truly believe in. And people may get tired of me saying it. My kids are probably tired of me saying that all the time, but it's true. Share what you know, because don't hold back if you know something or have a talent to share, because it can affect people in remarkable ways. And so I think it's valuable that people choose to say things, share experiences,
Yeah.
share knowledge, share talents. Talents sometimes totally save people's lives.
Oh, you just made me emotional. Just thinking, it's like Good Friday, and I've been thinking all week, just like all week about my life has just been transformed now that I'm pregnant. I'm thinking about Jesus and like
Oh, I
Mary, and I just like so
yes.
emotional.
Yeah.
But what you just said is like it's just so true because it could literally save a life
It
in
could.
general. Like you could save somebody's soul just by sharing the love of Jesus.
Yes.
But that's a whole different.
Exactly.
Sorry,
But
a
but
tangent. But
no, but that's exactly what it is. And so as I've
yeah,
learned, I mean, in swim, obviously, right? In water safety, you are literally saving somebody's life. But
yeah,
in the medical world, there's a doctor who could say, I had this experience once, and maybe this test can show us what's going on. And they do that test and it shows, and they just save somebody's life. It can be in all kinds of things.
hmm,
It can be totally simple things, but it can be, again, yes, absolutely. In Christianity, you share something, a message about Christ, and you don't have any idea who you might touch or who might need to
yeah,
hear that and who might, you just don't know. So that's my big motto, is that I want families to know, please share. You know about water safety, you choose to do water safety. Somebody else doesn't have to enroll in a water safety program, but if they do six other layers, they're still safer than not having known anything. And
right,
I'm sure you know, but if you talk to anybody who's lost a baby or a child to drowning, many, many, many times, they will tell you they didn't know anything about the dangers of water before they
yeah,
lost their child. And one of the first things they learned after they lost their child was what? That water is dangerous. And so that's one child is too many, and one family who tells you that is way too many. So you might as well tell everybody so that people are at least aware and can make their own choice. I've always said knowledge is power, and I believe that. If people at least have the knowledge, they have the power to implement, to do what they can, to be aware, to be more mindful. And all of that is life saving when you're talking water and small children.
yeah, definitely. Do you think that your experience in EMT and working in the medical field has pushed your urgency a little bit further?
Yes, because you can't make stuff up that happens
Yeah,
in the medical world, and people tell me that it won't ever happen to them. That phrase in my does not even enter my mind in life in general. Anything can happen to anybody at any time because life is that fragile, and we never know what will happen. And I think living the emergency world life for so long completely does impact the fact that I know anything can happen.
yeah. Does it shape the way that you created your whole what is it? It's called Water Safe Swim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that impact the way that you created Water Safe Swim, the brand as whole?
That's a good question. I definitely know and will say that it impacts how it's shaped over the years. Initially, when I first changed to Water Safe Swim, when I first created that brand and I took that on, I don't know that my ER or EMT license that played into that decision. I think more of that came from just my own experience with having taught
Okay.
infant swimming for the number of years that I taught it, and everything I had
Mm.
learned from our community and from what I had seen in the pool and from what I'd learned from families. So Water Safe Swim, it's been, let's see, 26. So it's been about 14 years that I've done Water Safe Swim, my own program and my own brand. And definitely the emergency room, the hospital environment has shaped how it's developed into even more of an urgency to collaborate and to do more community awareness and to get the information out there to people.
How would you explain your method to somebody that's not familiar with what you do?
So, Water Safe Swim is a water safety program for infants and toddlers. It is definitely designed through the sensory motor learning system. And the point in that is that we want to teach tiny humans to be able to rely on their own skill if they were to reach water alone. So, the whole purpose and method behind Water Safe Swim is to skill the child with the essential muscle memory so that if they get there by themselves, they can then use that and retain that information and draw upon that. You can teach a child younger than 6 months to roll over and float on their back, but there's no cognitive backing that says that they can retain that until they're that
Yeah.
6 months old. And then the repetitive daily lessons and refresher lessons and keeping the skill going is what will then make them stronger and it just more in the forefront of their mind. So it's quicker response if they were need to use it. That's what's different of a water safety program than a traditional swim program. So
Yeah.
we're here to work, we're here to have fun, and I get a lot of smiles in my pool and on my pool deck, but we are here to work and we are here to learn life-saving skills that then as they use them and get more familiar and get more comfortable, they become the fun and the enjoyment of just having a lifelong love of water. So, but the difference is how you start it, how it
Mm.
starts and how it's shaped from a life-saving skill to then an enjoyable skill.
To then becoming fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
not starting with the fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we can. Some kids do. I'm
Some
sure
kids
you
do.
know.
Yeah.
Some kids come
Yeah.
in and they're never sad. They're happy from day one.
Yeah.
We're working just as hard. They're just, I don't know, more natural. They just love it more. I don't have a good answer. That's the only answer I don't have for any parent that I've ever come up with. So
Yeah.
I don't know why one child loves it from day one and the other one doesn't ever.
I think we all wish we knew so we could implement it all the way around.
Yes. I know.
But that is the mystery that we'll never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you spend time educating parents beyond the pool deck? What does that look like?
Yeah, so that's my other thing that I've developed this last 18 months or so is I've really focused on trying to coin or have like a program and I've labeled it Beyond the Deck. And
Okay.
my Beyond the Deck is because my true belief is that we do awesome work in lessons in the water with every child and family because we are teaching skills that they can use again if they reach the water alone and that they can transition into a lifelong enjoyment of the water. But what happens beyond our pool deck to me matters more because if I don't educate families, if I don't teach parents how to keep swimming with their child and keep using the skills, if I don't teach awareness and I don't teach all the other layers and all the other things, I don't clear up misconceptions about marketing things agencies that are out there to market, swim toys that are not conducive to actual swimming. If I don't do all of that other work, then to me, it's risky. To me, it's way more solid, way more sound, way more covering all my layers as an instructor, my own set of layers, if I educate beyond the pool deck. So that's become a huge thing to me is that other instructors need to realize that we talk to our families about water safety layers, but as an instructor, I feel like we need to have our own layers that go beyond just teaching the skills.
Yeah.
We are way better and we have way more knowledge to share what we know than just teaching the child the skills. So that's something that I've changed and I've evolved and has really become who I am. And I think that's what separated me different over all the years from other instructors is so many instructors just get in and just teach lessons. It's a career, not that they're not passionate about it, not that they don't love children, none of that, but they don't do much besides just bring your child to me. I teach the lessons and I'll see you for a refresher next year. I don't see a lot of other stuff going on. And that's something I wish we could kind of change the conversation on that because, in general, I think we as instructors could do a lot more if we had more layers to what we give to our families and communities.
Yeah, definitely. Quick pause before we get back into the episode. If you're a swim instructor listening to this and you feel like you're running your business entirely from your phone, juggling Google Calendars, Venmo requests, parent texts, and Instagram DMs, you're not alone. Most instructors aren't overwhelmed because they can't teach. They're overwhelmed because no one ever shows them the business side of running a smooth swim program. So I created a free resource called the Swim Instructor Systems Guide. Inside, I walk through the essential tools I recommend for managing scheduling, payments, and parent communication so that you can spend less time organizing the logistics and more time doing what you actually love teaching. These are the tools that keep your schedule full without spending your whole day answering messages. If you want to download it, just click the link in the show notes. And if you're serious about turning your swim lessons into a real business, it's a great place to start. How are you sharing the Beyond the Deck information? Is it a pamphlet? Is it a newsletter, social media?
So I have a newsletter that's been created. So I think right now there's, I don't know, 1,000, 1,200 subscribers to the newsletter, which I would love to have that increase and get more because that just means more people are getting water safety information. And again,
Yeah.
I get water safety information from all kinds of organizations and all of it is gives me something. And so we can't ever have too much water safety information. And so I do a newsletter, I use it in community events. I share it that way. I share it on social media, but it's specifically focused. And my goal was that it's focused on water safety information. It's not focused on come do lessons with Miss Julie. Um,
Hmm.
it's just water safety information. There is information in there that, one of your layers is skilling the child and making sure you are part of a water safety program if you're under 5. And if you're over 5, here's resources for your over 5, over 6 year olds of all different levels. But the Beyond the Deck is for just giving out water safety information in a different way also. So it's more personal. So I share stories, I try to share things from my life that I've learned, things that are important to me, along with different ways to think about water safety.
Wow, that's very selfless of you to take the time to write out a
Yep.
newsletter and share that information out and it not be just a different way to market or have people come to. I mean, if they do, then wonderful,
Right.
but it's not a funnel to get people to come to you. It's just to educate parents.
Yeah. And that's my goal with it is I hope that it keeps going and I really hope that I can just share it to educate because again, like I kind of said earlier, that's really my goal because I do feel like some people can't do water safety lessons. Some people can't do swim lessons at all. Some people are too have all kinds of reasons why they can't do a swim program of any kind. So if they can learn about water safety and do everything else possible, they're still being safe. I've tried to change that over the years to help families feel empowered to do as much as they can. And whatever they can do and feel good about for their family, that makes them doing their part and being safe. I feel like for a lot of years, if you were kind of looked down upon, if you didn't do water safety, then you're not safe.
Yeah.
A water safety program, but it's still only one layer. It still doesn't give you, there's no drown proofing anybody. We all know that in our world, right? So if it's only one layer, while it is a critical layer, it's one of the ones I find most important. It's one of the ones I highly encourage because there's a whole lot of benefits besides just having skills. But if you can't do it for whatever reason, do everything else. You're an amazing parent and you're doing a great job and be aware. And awareness, I think, is huge. Because again, all of those families that have lost children, most all of them say they were not aware.
Yeah. It's hard because there is unspoken like rule between people that teach these water safety courses on this is the right way, this is the only way, and if you
Yep.
support something else, then you don't support us. You
Correct.
don't there's like no regard for other professionals, and that can get really hard, really messy really quickly. I struggled a lot with that because prior to becoming infant aquatic certified, I had a traditional swim school, and so I went from traditional to survival, but I kept my traditional swim school. I kept my employees and they continued to go out and teach traditional swim. I received a lot of hate from people that were in my specific niche about why we had these two separate programs, but to your point, some people can't afford or can't do the Monday through Thursday. Some people
Hmm.
need you to come. Like, there's just so many different variations of why people can't do the program that we want them to do. And so having those layers and those different avenues for them just helps save lives. And I could never understand why there was so much animosity
Yeah.
when it comes to different programs.
Yeah. That was something I experienced early on when I started. I was certified with Infant Swimming Resource initially. And that was something that I felt a huge pressure. And one of the reasons why I stepped away is I felt like in the world that we live in and in the purpose that we have to help save children and educate, that we should all be on the same team. And
Yeah.
that was a really, I didn't know that going into it until I got into it, and then actually one of my most favorite friends, water safety friends ever, she was certified with infant aquatics and certified with infant swimming
Mm,
resource. Carrie Tom was her name. She's down in La Jolla area in Southern California, and she actually kind of opened my eyes and helped me realize that not everybody was that way, and so I ended up anyway, learning a lot from her, and
mm,
she shaped a lot of how my career ended up with in the water safety world. She was amazing because I agree with you. I think we should all be on the same team. I think we should all be supporting. Great. Go to this location if you can't come to me. If I don't have a good time, please find somebody else. If there's somebody else you want to go to, great. As long as they teach a good program. I have encountered instructors that don't teach very good programs. So
yeah.
I am careful and selective. If I get feedback or I see things, I don't refer to everybody. But yeah, I think we should all be, we're all doing the same thing. And there's children forever and ever and ever. There's so many children.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
there's so many that need that, and there's so many families and there's so many people we can help, share it and educate. So yeah, I agree with you. I wish that was different within instructors. And
Mhm.
I don't find that with infant aquatic instructors, so I
Yeah,
I
I'm
I
very
I love
blessed.
that program, and
One of my favorite things about following you on social media is seeing all the different stuff that you share. You're not afraid to share. You're not afraid to talk about another instructor, share a different reel from another instructor, another company. You're not afraid to post referrals. Granted, are they all part of your same company trained by you?
most of them are, yes, but I do have one who's longtime, infant swimming resource, and she's in Modesto, so and she's in my area still, like, of where I refer to, and so she's on my list too for water safety. There's a bunch of newer instructors in Sacramento that I don't know, and I've not gotten any phenomenal feedback from. The master instructor for infant swimming resource that used to be in Sacramento, she left after COVID, and I used to refer to her all the time 'cause she was amazing, but I don't refer to anybody else up there. We don't have any infant aquatic instructors anywhere,
Yeah,
close
I've
by.
heard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I always tell families when I get calls from people from different states and they're asking me, "You don't live near me. Do you have anybody you refer?" I always refer infant aquatics first. Sorry, infant swimming resource, but I do. I do. I refer to infant aquatics first, and then if there's nobody, then I tell people, well, and then I usually try to tell people find an instructor that was trained with infant swimming resource at least 10 years ago, if not go back
Yeah.
like 12 years ago. The old school instructors for infant swimming resource, I feel like are different. They're a little
Still
more
very cool.
inclusive.
Still so nice that you refer people out, that you're not I mean, it's about the mission. You're
Yeah.
not afraid to share different resources if that means that a family can get plugged in.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
When you train people, do you spend time training them about maybe, like, the community aspect of it, the education, to the parent aspect of it? Is that part of the curriculum or part of what you do?
Yeah, that's a huge part of what I do. So I do included in my academics portion, similar to any program. You got to have like stuff, right? Content,
Mhm.
and then you have in water training. So during the content training part, I go into all of that. Community's huge. I go into building a business and how to build a successful business. And I share what I've done over the years and all different things that I've done. And I always tell those that I've trained, you can choose, pick and choose. You can do it all your own way. I'm just telling you what I did that I have found to find success. And then, yeah, the parent part of it is huge. When I do trainings, I don't require it, but I highly encourage it, and everybody has taken it, is to do poolside hours where they come and they sit on the pool deck and they can spend as many hours as possible on the pool deck observing and interacting with families, seeing how I teach and what my verbal interaction is with families, because I do a lot of teaching while I'm in the water and educating to the parents. I
Okay.
do a lot more pointing out what I'm doing so parents see the positives and negatives to what's not negatives, but the successes or the not successes, I guess, of what their child's doing. I try to involve the parents as much as I can. I have found that the more I talk to their parents and explain what's going on by demonstrating with their, what their child's doing and learning, the calmer my parents are on the pool deck.
Mhm.
They feel like they're part of it. They're not just coming and watching somebody, hand over their child and then have no idea what's going on. They're learning from the get go. And a lot of that conversation that I have with the parent for the new instructor to listen and hear some of that or as much of that as they can is super important. I have found that the instructors that have done that with me have found way more success in their own pools.
Yeah, that's something that I do. I talk a lot, sometimes more than I should.
Yeah.
But I like verbally what helps me is I verbally process what I'm doing instead of doing it in my head. I do it out loud, and then that kind of includes the parent in it.
Mhm.
Kind of like walk them through the process of what I'm doing. But you're right. There is a layer of when you communicate more, how much more they trust you. I started doing like weekly emails and recapping like Billy did this week and this is what we're going to work on next week. It can be a little tedious, but that has been huge in making parents feel really comfortable and working them through some of those like mental things with their kid, even their 1.5 year old that they can't really
Right.
work through, but just that conversation that they're having.
Okay, I love that you do that individually for each student.
I
I
do.
do a weekly recap and then start for the next week, but it's a general to everybody in the session. But the individual one is a really great idea. I do that
Yeah, I
my
see
side,
it.
but I bet you see that because I again you use the word trust, which is what it is. That confidence and that calmness that they feel is because they've transitioned to trust. And so that communication's huge. I like that idea. I
Yeah,
might
so
borrow
I
that.
do I do have, like, a general message for each week of, like, these are the goals that we're doing,
Right.
but I do go individually and I send it and I recap to myself, like, "Billy had a really hard week 3, so let me mention a little bit about what week 3 looked like and how week 4 will be better so that mom can prepare."
Yeah.
And like I said, it's tedious, but it's made a big difference in the way that parents show up, and I think it makes a big difference in the way that I show up too because I wanna be a woman of my word and I
Right.
want to be someone that they can trust. And so I'm not just showing up to lessons and hoping that they do what I said they were going to do. I have like a goal in mind.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
for
I like that.
sharing. That's really cool, though, that you have that incorporation in your instructors watching you and being able to apply that. If someone was looking for a program to enroll in and they were interested in connecting with you, what does the process look like? What do you go over? How long or is your training? Can you give us some insight on all of that?
So if someone wanted to do the training part of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So people reach out. There is a spot on my website that they can inquire that way. Many times people have come to lessons or they've heard about me from lessons from somebody, so they'll just text me. I send them out a packet via email that has basically, it's way too long. I talk too much. All my whole background history, all of like the local market. It has the national market. It talks about water safety in general, what it looks like. It's kind of a lot, and so I at the very end, it says, "If you're still interested or wanna go to the next step, please reach back out." So it kinda gives them a whole lot, but I feel like if they can I want them to know everything about me, who I am, what my background was, what my goals are, what my purpose is, what they're getting into. I send that through email. I send it with my contract, like, what the contract looks like, and it's all broken down. So there's generally, it's 10 hours of academics. It's depending on how much they want pool time, it goes those hours are in there. I do a 4-day-a-week program. So that's
Okay.
when I'm enrolling students, what I changed over the years, and again, I'm in this 26 years now, so I tell my instructors that I'm training this to. I did not do this years ago, but the last probably maybe 8, 7 years, I switched to just enrolling 4-day-a-week program, and so that's what I train on. And then if families need a 5-week program or a 6-week program, because we know all children are different, some might finish in 2 weeks, some might finish in 4, some might finish in 6, some might need 8. Then I add the weeks as needed. And so I train in a 4-week program. So my method and my program is laid out for week 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then like 24 hours in the 4 week would be like an hour and a half in the water with me. And that gives them about 8 to 10 students hands on. And then again, poolside hours are as much as they can do. And I always encourage at least 2 hours a day poolside where they're taking notes on everybody. There's a lot of video that we do. I take videos, we watch videos. And then there's a lot of just education that goes back and forth between when we meet for academics and the content part of it, and then when we get in the pool. And it's different for everybody. Sometimes people have done content 6 months ahead of when they get in the pool, and we, do like one a month or we do it in a couple weeks. It just depends. Everybody's situation is different. I've done it
Yeah.
videos, I've done it FaceTime, I've done it in person, I've done it at coffee shops, so I've done it in my home, done it in other people's homes. So it's very I can tailor it. I'm not mass producing instructors and I'm not training 10 a year. It's not like that at all. So it's very personable and it can be managed around whatever they've got going on and what I've got.
Okay.
So once they come back, we usually meet somewhere. We have another meeting. I explain again more what the market looks like, more what training looks like, and what they're getting involved with. And then they get to decide if they want to do it or not. And
Mm.
some do and some don't, and some have waited a year or 2 and then they've done it. Some have left their careers and done
Mm.
water swimming, water safe swim as their new career. That always makes me nervous because
Yeah.
always makes me nervous because I've never done it. Like I didn't do it that way. I always had a job and I did this as like my hobby. And then
Yeah.
it's evolved into more and more hours because I've chosen to give it more hours, but that always makes me nervous. But everybody's doing great. Everybody that I've trained has done a really good job and I haven't had any substantially negative feedback. So I take that as a win. And
Yeah.
they all teach their own programs. So they're independently certified. I certify them through my program that they did my program. They did my training. I do require they carry insurance. I require that they're CPR and first aid certified. Those are
And is it one-on-one? Do you
Mhm.
take one instructor at a time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did do a husband and wife team last year, which was really
Okay.
fun, and I'm excited to have a male that I can refer to because some people really respond well to men,
Yeah,
and
they do.
there's some cool I mean, you probably know, in
Mhm.
the water safety world, there's some amazing male instructors that have done great things that I
Yeah.
love to follow and I think do an amazing job. So I was excited. So a husband and wife team, we did do our content academic portion together, but then they trained in the water separately. So
Mm.
I feel like I
Okay.
don't know that I could do more than one at a time. That'd be a little stressful for me. I don't
Yeah. It gets messy, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they come for 4 weeks to do to learn the 4-week method.
Yes.
And then are they equipped with how to do lessons for if someone needs a 2-week lesson or if someone needs a 3-week? Do you kind of go over that too within the 4 weeks?
Yeah. So I usually have refreshers that come in. So I do the training in my pool with my swim kids. So I've booked
Okay.
swim kids and then I try to play around between all of our schedules. I find the group of kids or I switch people around and I get a group of kids that kind of gives, every skill set needed. So
Mm,
refresher kids,
okay.
2 week class. We'll have a couple of those. We'll have a brand new floater. We'll have a floater that's going to become a swimmer. We'll maybe have, let's say last year I had a float to a swimmer, but we stopped it at the swim because they were maybe at that cusp where I didn't want to flip them back over and swim again. So then we'll
Mhm.
have some of those. We'll have some skilled swimmers that can do the whole sequence that are super good that are coming back, but maybe doing a whole nother 4 weeks because let's say they were 2, and so now mom wants to do it, another solid set instead of just the
Yeah.
refresher. So we do all of that. I do get permissions from all of the families that they're willing and okay to be part of an instructor training. If they get in the pool with me during the instructor training and the parent was like, "Oh, I did not realize what was happening. I don't want to
Mhm.
do this." They can get out of that and I'll reschedule them somehow. So it's very one on one. It's very personable. It's very flexible to whatever kind of everybody needs. And so we do the 2 week refresher. I do not recommend, again, because they're all teaching their independent programs or their
Mhm.
independent instructors. Technically, they could do whatever they want.
Okay. That was my next
Ideally
question.
yeah, ideally, they hold true to the ethics and values that they learned from me and what we did in our training program. There's a clause in the contract that just basically says it's kind of a good faith clause that you're gonna go forward and you're gonna uphold what you were taught because it's what Miss Julie believes is the safest, and we're not out to do harm to anybody, so I don't encourage that they do I can't say allow because they can do whatever they want technically, but I would not encourage them to do a 3-week program or a modified. Like, you probably after teaching for a number of years, there's sometimes I'll take a family, especially a first responder family that only can come twice a week, and I
Yeah.
can do 8 weeks of lessons for twice a week, but I don't encourage any new instructor to do that. The oldest instructor that I have I had someone that was older, but she passed away, unfortunately, is the longest one that's teaching actively. I think she's now in year 7. So she's getting close. Like, and if she had somebody, she would call me and say, "Hey, do you think I could do this?" And I would tell her, "Yes." I'd be like, "Yeah, go for it." But a brand new instructor, year 1, 2, 3, even 4, I mean, until you really feel like you've got it and your own sensory motor as an instructor, you're learning sensory motor at the same time, right? So until that's kind of like the back of your hand, where I'm not doing any modifications. I don't encourage that.
That's kind of how the infant aquatics world is, I believe different than the infant swimming resource world because we can have our own businesses and we can run our classes however we want for the most part.
Yes.
The model can shift from one instructor to the other. So I do private lessons and then I have group classes that I
Okay.
bring my kids into. But I was curious about that if you allowed, well, I guess it's not about allowing, but
I know.
if they had the flexibility to just kind of make their program what it is, so long as they're following the concrete
Yeah.
4-week method.
And they can. I don't encourage them. I try to really encourage them. Get yourself set with the 4 weeks. And I even tell them if you have a student that finishes like they're rock stars and in 2 weeks you're like, man, they've got good skills. I tell them, I say, I still would encourage you your first number of years, ride out the 4 weeks with them because it helps you practice and it's just going to make them stronger kids. So I don't have the magic number to how many years do you have to teach. I think that would come down to each instructor on how they really feel. I can look at the instructors that I've trained and just from what I know and how their training went and how they've done post season or post training, I could say this one probably would be able to modify things way quicker than this other one could because everybody has their strengths, right? Some people do really well with just you tell me how to do it, I'm going to do it
Mhm.
exactly the same, and others can shift and be more
Yeah.
flexible.
Pivot.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree with you. That is different, and one of the reasons why when I rebuilt my own program after leaving Infant Swimming Resource, I wanted something with more flexibility because I felt like, in my opinion, real life has to be way more flexible and everybody responds different. And I landed at 4 weeks because, again, I kind of took the average. The majority of kids
Mm.
need 4 weeks. Sometimes you get less and occasionally you need more, but 4 weeks was kind of that sweet spot that I had found in my experience. So I went with that. And I'm pretty good. Sometimes they need a little bit longer and sometimes they finish earlier. And I do now again, because I'm this many years in, if they finish earlier, I'm the first one to tell the parent, I am confident in your child. If you want to be done, we can be done. And if they need longer lessons, I always do it at no cost. You already paid. If you're willing to sacrifice and come an extra week, I'll sacrifice my time too. So it's something that I do. It's built in. For my season, something that I do different, again, because of where I'm at, is I don't charge. So if you come to me in April and you want a refresher in June because you haven't swam, I don't charge for that. Just once you paid me for the season, then I'm at your beck and call. But basically your beck and call. Come whenever you want, pop in, drop in, call me, text me. If we need a new skill, if whatever, then I'll accommodate it. If they're willing to bring their child, I'll make it work.
Wow.
But I don't tell my new instructors to do that because they're trying to build a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They need to charge for their extra time, and I used to do that, but now I've just rolled it into it. It's easier for me to just pay me the one fee and then everything else is included. So,
Yeah. There are things that come with it. I do something similar too. If they need an extra week, I could get the extra 110, but
right.
I could also just do it.
Correct. Well, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
easier than having the conversation, or some people are
Yeah.
great about paying and other people aren't. And so then it's kind of
Yeah.
like, well, you're here for the extra week, but now you didn't pay. And then it's Wednesday and you still haven't paid. And
Yeah.
I'm done with that. So it's fine. It's
Yeah.
not about the dollars, it's just about the skill. I would much rather have their child skilled than say, "No, I don't wanna pay more money. I already paid you X number of dollars."
Mhm.
I don't So I find a greater success in adding weeks when
Mhm.
when I present it that way. If you're willing to bring your child and give your time, I'm willing to give my time too, and I'll make it work.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, because
I do
I
the same
want
thing
them.
for group classes too.
Okay.
Like if let's say they're sometimes kids regress or they learn something new, they had to wear a jacket on the boat, anything similar to that. If I see that there's something that just needs a little bit of work, I'm not going to charge you to come get a private lesson. Just if you're going to take the time to bring them, please bring them. We'll fix the problem and then they can just resume.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says a lot about your program too when you're willing to it's not even bending over backwards, but when you're willing to meet your child or your student where
Right.
they need to be met, the
Yes.
family where they need to be met.
Yeah, I think that separates any instructor from those that are just, again, more of a cookie cutter or more of a, we're just here for the swim lesson part of it, because that's important. That's the real life side of it, right? Like, yes, they go out on a boat and they get to jump in the lake with their life jacket on. And now all of a sudden they go back to the pool and they're a little startled. I won't ever say they forget, because they don't forget. They're just startled in, wait, this feels different. So if mom's having taking the time to call me or text me, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And anybody can come to train with you anywhere as long as they're willing to come.
Yeah, I had someone reach out to me from Southern California, but they didn't end up training with me, but someone from Southern California looking for someone to train with. And I don't remember what her, oh, she knows somebody up here who knows me. She has
Okay.
family up in this area or whatever. And then I had someone from Arizona, a grandma from
Oh.
Arizona that wanted to come train, but then she didn't. She found something closer. So
Good to know. If there is a swim instructor who's listening who feels like they're good at what they're doing, but they want to do more, what is some inspirational words that you can give them, whether it's more in the community or more in their training.
my takeaway, honestly, for an instructor that wants to do more or feel like they're doing more or show up better for themselves would be to invest time and being more intentional with where they're putting their resources. So it's not about bringing more students necessarily or bringing more dollars. It's about showing up with more intention and to the families and to each student and to themselves and to your community. So if you have a passion for being in the community, do something intentional to feed that. Likewise, for your pool deck, do something for your swim families. Be extra for your swim parents. Kind of what you were doing, where that extra that you do to each swim family to give them feedback at the end of the week. That's huge. That's going to build trust, and that's going to make you as an instructor, I would imagine, feel amazing too, because you're having that extra communication. So that would be my biggest takeaway, is to just be more intentional with where you're putting your resources. And that doesn't mean just dollars.
And steward what you have. I was actually so impressed with your setup of the pool. And I've always rented pools. So I've
Okay.
never had like a place that parents can come that's mine. So last year in California was my first year of parents coming to me. And that's also when you had posted Atticus. And
Okay.
so I got to see all your stuff and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is amazing." Like I want my families to feel so welcomed and loved and safe in this environment now that I get to control it. And so I got like signs too and I was able to do graduation things that I've never been able to do before. And it just made me feel so good inside to be able to meet them a little step further
Oh,
than what
yeah.
I've had in the past. I even got like these little tote bags for their diapers, like
Oh,
just
how
wanting
fun.
to take it a
Yes.
next level. It does take resources, it does take time, but you're right, just going a little bit further with what you have
Yeah.
goes a long way to make you feel like you're meeting parents.
You seem like your heart's probably close to mine in that you kind of relish in that, like that, your
Yeah.
pool space, like, and that's awesome that you get to have your, I loved I loved seeing how you created and you built and you put it all together, your pool. I watched all the things that you posted about it and I loved that. And I think that's awesome. I love that you do t-shirts. I love that, like, Atticus came in his little swim. Do you do swim diaper? You have a swim diaper
I
too.
do
He came in a
diapers,
swim
yeah.
diaper, which I loved. And I love my pool deck. And
Mhm.
that's something that means so much to me. It's something that I've had a hard time communicating with my those that I've trained, the instructors, because they're seeing everything that I have, and I haven't been able to figure out how to communicate that they need to take what I have, but they need to find their own. Like whatever would be so meaningful and make them excited, that stuff makes me excited. So I've repurposed my signs for a lot of years. And this year, my year 26, my extra that I'm doing, my focus this year is to put back into my swim family specifically. So I have done a few things already, but I came up with some new signage stuff and I'm really pretty excited. I was a little nervous. I was hoping nobody would put a comment or when they show up, somebody probably will, but I'm hoping nobody's like, "Oh, I missed the old sign."
Aw.
Because I had it
I like your new sign.
for so many years, but I was like, I want a new, I want to create something new that I love. So that was kind of my goal for this year. So, but yeah,
No, I love your new sign. I
yeah,
noticed it. Someone posted it, and I noticed it because I loved your old sign.
I,
When I saw it, I was like, "This is genius. Julie's a genius. Like, this is amazing." And then I saw your new sign, and I was like, "Wait, this is even better than what she had originally." The words just say something different, and I feel like is that at the entrance of your
mhm,
pool deck?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. It feels very warm. It feels very safe, and it feels very like confirmation
yeah.
if I was the parent walking in.
And that's what I kinda wanted. I love my old sign, it was kinda always made me laugh, and it always like, "Excuse my crying, I'm, learning to say my life's hard work," and I had different ways to say that over all the years because I would get bored and I would change it, and, infant swimming resource uses that, infant a lot of people use that kind of saying, but yeah, I wanted something a little more positive and a little more, I don't know, like, realistic, like, these are big feelings these kids have, right?
Yeah,
They're super brave and this work is hard, but it's not hard. Like hard work can also like make kids think that it's gonna be, I don't know. So I was like, brave work
hard.
sounds better. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I got excited and I spend a lot of hours, which is probably the downside of my business side of this is that everything I do takes me a long time. But I do it with
Yeah.
passion. I do it. My kids make fun of me. I have my chalkboards that I do and I handwrite them and I erase them and I handwrite them again. And it takes me a whole afternoon to write one chalkboard sign that says, "Welcome to Water Safe Swim. Love, Miss Julie." But it's me and it's totally
Yeah.
fine. So my pool deck does have heart and it does. I wanted it to just be that much more encouraging as they walk in, not so much they're going to cry because it's hard work. That was my purpose for changing my sign this year.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's so cute. It's so sweet. Very encouraging. Definitely. What is it like to build a business that is fueled by mission rather than fueled by growth? And do you think there's tension in the middle of that?
For me personally, there's not tension.
Okay.
But I say that now I'm trying to think. The tension would come from outside sources that think that it shouldn't be fueled by passion or by purpose or by mission because people see that I work, right? That it's work, it's a job. It never has felt that way to me. And even with my husband, it's been nothing negative, but for years, he's definitely pushed the growth aspect of it and
Mhm.
other people had pushed the growth aspect of it where I'm like, no, it's fine. It's just my side passion. It's just my hobby. So he's come around though, as he's, I think this last couple of years, and he's like, you know what? You're right. This is who you are. It just makes me happy to have swim families. I really, really believe that my best friends are tiny humans that are I call them my
Yeah.
tiny human coworkers. Like they're my coworkers. Like and wouldn't you date
That's
their
good.
coworkers to have? I don't know how to do it different. I struggle with people who come in and want it to just be about growth. And I'm sure, I don't know if you have, but I'm sure other instructors, people know how much they paid for their child and then they see how many people are on my schedule and they start multiplying dollars and they're like, oh, you make all this money. It's not about that for me, and it's not cut and dry like that either. But people who approach me to train with me, some of them have been turned off because it's not about the dollars for me. It's definitely fueled by purpose and passion. So
Yeah.
there is
The
tension there. You're
tension,
right.
but it comes from the outside sources
Yeah.
every time
Yeah.
because especially with social media and once you start getting into the rabbit hole of like I am an entrepreneur and I am a business owner and so when you start under getting that lingo in there and you start to hear like okay well you need more clients, you need more revenue, you need
Right.
more money, more students, like more and you can get wrapped into what other people think is more
Hmm.
when really it's like, but the passion for me, having more passion probably drives me more than
Right.
wanting
Right.
all of those other things.
Yeah, I'm seeing a new trend where which I'm older, right? So, but I'm seeing a new trend, I feel like, where swim instructors are trying to have more revenue but less students. And
Yeah.
I definitely personally struggle with that, and I have to not go down the rabbit hole on social media looking at those people that are doing those types of promoting because I have a very large pool deck. I have a lot of families that come. I teach 300 plus students a year. I'm not complaining about that. I don't charge a lot of money comparatively to what some other programs charge, but I also know that my passion is there. And so I have to stay away from feeling like the people that are marketing to take less students but make more money are marketing it as I'm giving more to my swim families if I take less swim families. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel that way. I feel like I give to my swim families and I'm deeply committed to each one. I know each one. I see them in the community. I follow them as they grow. I saw a mom today. I went to a swim lunch and she's got twin boys. She's twin boys. Just that's the only baby she had, but they came to me as infants and they're graduating high school. And I saw her today and I was like, "How are you doing?" And I said, she's like, "Oh, she's struggling." And I was like, "You have to be because it's 2 months away and they're twins, so it's one and done. That's it." So I don't buy into that, but that's where I feel like this new trend is going is trying to say, I'm increasing my prices and my prices are high, but I'm only taking this many students. And that's because I can give more. People who take too many students can't give as much. And I don't. Maybe that goes into why I have 6 kids. People would say that about children. If you have more than 2 children, you can't give them enough of everything. Well, we had 6. So I don't know, but that I do see that trend on social media, like not in social. I see it on social media, but I have to be careful not to go down that rabbit hole because
Mhm.
I love my swim families, and it wouldn't reduce. I would not do that. I could not reduce the number of families, but charge everybody double to make the same profit and have less families. That would not jive with my soul. That will not be me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I had to eliminate the traditional swim program in Las Vegas that I had with the changes and the twins coming, but gas prices are astronomical right now. And I was just thinking to myself, because they were mobile instructors, in order to make any profit, I would have to raise my prices. And I don't even know that I could do it with good conscience to be able to raise prices than what they already were because mobile
Right.
private lessons are already a luxury.
Yes.
And I'm thankful that it happened that way because I was spiraling, but it's just like we get into these it's hard because you have a business and you wanna be profitable, and we still have bills to pay. I still have to pay to heat my pool. I still
Correct.
have to pay to run my stuff, and I have a mortgage and stuff, but it's just that fine line of, like, how much do we charge where it's ethical,
Correct.
and we're actually giving children an opportunity to learn how to swim, and it's not just a luxury.
Yeah. So I agree with you on that. And yeah, the mobile thing, I still get asked that a lot. Do I travel and the private instructor at their own home? And when I moved up to Lodi, this area, Campo Lodi, I didn't do any more traveling. It wasn't conducive anymore. I did travel when I was in Southern California. Uh,
Oh, wow.
it was hard, but I did do it.
Yeah, I traveled for the first 6 years that I taught swim lessons,
Yeah, that's hard.
maybe 7. Yeah, it's really hard, and you don't reach as many students, and yeah, it's a
Yeah, you
whole
spend
different
your time
industry.
driving or
Mhm, packing up, yeah. If every instructor would take your motto of sharing what you know and help you and will save a life, how do you think that would impact our industry? Not just on the scale of saving children, but on a grander scale. What do you think would happen there?
well, I definitely think the reach would go way farther if everybody spoke up and shared what they knew. And I think it would, in my opinion, it would totally make circling back to that more of a community. I think it would break a lot of walls down because if everybody chose to share what they knew with the idea of reaching somebody, we all have good information. We all have life experience. And in the industry, we have life experience. And if we could all share that to where people were open to learning from others, we would all be better because not one of us knows everything. And so, in the process, the reach would grow as instructors, the reach would grow for water safety because honestly, one of my biggest hopes is I wish that Nobody would ever say they didn't know. That honestly, I think is what hurts me the most is that people don't know. And even in my community, we have a little girl who drowned like 3 miles from me, and her family's amazing. She's my little friend Stella that I have on my some of my social media stuff, and her family didn't know. And yet I'm right here, and they did not know about me. They had friends who came to me, and they didn't know. And that hurts me more, and that's why if we could share what we know, ideally, we could eliminate people not knowing, and that, to me, makes everybody safer. It gives everybody a better chance. Maybe that's the idea, right? You have no chance if you don't know.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard because we're so involved in the aquatic industry that we become kind of numb to the whole idea that, like, not everybody knows about water safety and not
Mhm.
everybody knows the dangers of what can possibly happen and how quick it can be. I think about bathtubs all the time,
Yeah.
all the time, and how dangerous those are, or even like the small kiddie pools, the plastic blue ones and
Mhm.
green ones that are what, maybe 2 feet
Yeah.
deep, like, how dangerous those are, and people just don't know.
Yeah, and advertising agents, I mean, that's a hole in the rabbit hole. Stupid advertising agencies that somewhere I read or I saw and I've used a couple times because I love the way that it said it. I don't remember what it was. It might have been something that I watched, but basically that the marketing companies out there that are marketing all of these things, they're just trying to make dollars and sell
Yeah.
items. They don't care about your child at all. Not like your swim instructor does. Your swim instructor knows all these things. So, who are parents going to listen to? Are they going to listen to the swim instructor that's telling them do X, Y, and Z to teach real swim skills? Or are they going to listen to the advertising agencies that are trying to market all these things, pools, flotation devices, all this stuff, right? And unfortunately, it's like that inattention blindness that we all know happens. We see bigger, brighter, louder, we don't see the smaller, and advertising stuff is always bigger, brighter, louder because they have the
Yep.
dollars to just advertise, and they say things that are not right. And parents think they're doing their best effort because they use a flotation device because that's what they've been marketed for. Swim aids, teach your child to swim. I saw one last year. Oh my gosh. It was like a step 1, 2, and 3. This will teach this, then it will teach this, then it will teach this. It was a like a puddle jumper, but it was marketed to teach 3 different levels of swim skills. Really? No, it's
Wow.
not. And so, yeah, I was like, how in the world can we fight and combat against that marketing? So that's why sharing what you know, if we could all share more what we know as a community and as one team, no matter who you work for, no matter who you're trained by, no matter what program you have, if we all were able to share more what we know as a common themed team, like team motto or even just team purpose, I feel like it would reach way more people.
Yeah, definitely. When you think back to the last 26 years, knowing what you know now about mission and calling and purpose, what do you wish someone would have told you at the very beginning?
Oh gosh. The first thought that came to my mind, but I don't really know how to say it adequately, would be I wish they had told me that it would become such a passion.
Hmm.
I didn't know that when I got into this, I got into it with my son as a swim mom. That's how I
Mhm.
started. And I had no idea that 26 years later I would still be doing it. But beyond that, I had no idea how important it would become to me and how much
Yeah.
my life would be consumed into this. I think it's different than a career. Even in the EMT world, you do become passionate about it, but that's a different kind of environment. And teachers become passionate in the classroom, and maybe it's similar, but I don't know why. It feels different to me. I wish that somebody had told me that. Not because I wouldn't have done it at all. I don't know. I don't know why, but that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Well, it could have gone many different ways, but if you would have known, maybe you would have held it tighter, or you would have, not that you weren't appreciating it, but there's just a level of appreciation
Yeah.
that goes into it when you know what it means to you. But there is something special about the aquatic industry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I probably would have been more appreciative earlier on. That would have driven even more effort from me to be all in or to show up better earlier than I haven't, the last 10 years, say.
Yeah, but you still have in the
Yeah,
past 10 years, and you still have another 20
I
years
do.
to
I
go.
still have a long time.
You definitely
Yeah,
do.
I got
Yeah,
it in me.
so it doesn't matter what the first 25 years look like if the next 25 are even better.
And I'm not
That's
disappointed in the
beautiful.
first part of my water safety stuff, but I do wish that somebody had told me that it would be what it is because it's so special to me and
Hmm.
something I'm so grateful that I have and that I've spent my life doing. So,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
thank you.
All right. We have just a couple more things to go and then we'll wrap it up. For 2026, do you have anything fun planned coming up? Any speaking events or community events that people could attend?
The Lodi Street Fair, which is May 3rd, and that's a fun event. There, everybody comes out. I wish I could enjoy the event, but I'm doing water safety education. But it's a great fun event. So I have that event coming up in May. I have another event actually with the hospital that I used to work for. I did last year crossover with doing a website and my Beyond the Deck newsletter, and I did a promotional awareness video. I don't know if you watched that or not, but I did a real life reenactment of a real life scenario and I put that out in the community last year. That's one of the things I did for my 25th year. And doing all of those things leveled up my reputation and got some of the like healthcare, like the hospital to finally go, oh, you know what? I think we can trust her. So now I'm doing an event for them. I did last year and I'll do it again this year. And that's the beginning of May also. It's a walk, like a 5K walk run, and they have health educational booths during the event. So I'm going to do that as well. And then I've done the last 3 years, I've done in December, I do a Lodi Fire Foundation event with the local fire company, which is just a fun free event for kids and families. And that's a huge fun event. So those are my big events for the year that I'm doing, and then I do donation baskets for different events that are always fun to put together. I enjoy that.
Mm.
And so that's what I've got coming up for 2026 outside of just again my goal for this year is to really focus on my pool deck and my swim families. And so I have a couple new things that I'm doing. I'm doing a birthday basket this year that I'm excited about. So anybody that has a birthday during swim in like in the actual session with me, they're gonna get to pick a storybook out of a birthday basket that I have.
That is so
Which,
sweet.
yeah, I don't know if you maybe do it, but I've never done it. And every season, I'm like, different kids have birthdays. They come to lessons and it's their birthday, and I'm like, happy birthday. And every year, I'm like, man, I should do something. Like, I have
Yeah.
their birthdays. I could totally organize that. So this was my year. I'm excited. There's about 30 of them that have birthdays when they
Wow.
swim that they'll come to me on their birthday. So that's kind of a fun, not a huge thing, but a big thing for me. I'm excited to be able to share that. What else did I do for my swim families? A couple new little graduation things that I got, new graduation sign that I made. I don't know, little fun things like that. A
Yeah.
few t-shirts. I didn't do t-shirts for everybody. That might be my next 2027. Do a t-shirt for everybody.
T-shirts.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to get creative and to be able to celebrate kids in
Yeah.
different ways and to spice it up each year.
Yeah.
In your swim bag, it can be your teaching swim bag or just a normal everyday swim bag. What are 3 unique things that you carry in there that are specific to you? You cannot say sunscreen, towel, or chapstick, and tell us what they mean to you, what they say about you.
And this is real life. I'm not coming up like this would be like real
Yeah.
life, my real life
Mhm.
swim bag.
Yeah, we ask everybody, and we get
Okay.
some cool answers.
Okay.
So you can be as creative, or it can be real, or whatever, just whatever comes to mind.
Okay, so what it comes to mind in my real life swim bag is I would have vanilla wafers,
Okay.
a vanilla wafer cookie, a packet of those. I would have
Uh-huh.
hair ties
Okay.
on a carabiner. I would have those. And then I would have little trinkets that the kids give me. That's one of the things that kids come to the pool deck with little bracelets or little whatever, or
Mhm.
they'll leave me a little rock, and I keep all of those. So I probably have a baggie with all of my little swim treasures.
How
Yeah.
sweet. What does that tell us about you? Tell us about the wafers. Are they for you or are they for students?
They're for me. So,
Okay.
um, years ago when I was in Carlsbad and I went through a period, I was a single mom. I had my two oldest boys. And my healing process through my divorce was pool was all water. It was either the beach, the pool, my boys, and we always had a packet of vanilla wafers everywhere we went. With those places, the water places. So vanilla wafers and water are meaningful to me and means nothing to anybody, but to me, it takes me back immediately to just a place where I'm feeling calm and can just reset and refresh my mind. And it's a weird connection that I have now. Not a weird, it's a very special,
Wow.
unique connection that I have to vanilla wafers. Yeah. And so that's my vanilla wafers. The hair ties on a carabiner, that's just something that I keep in my car. I keep in on the pool deck. I feel like everybody, even boys, sometimes I don't know. It's like you can do amazing things with hair ties.
Yeah.
They can do all kinds of things. So there's kind of like my zip tie. I don't know. Hair ties would be important. And then yeah, kids give me little things all the time. And I even love, I'm known in my family that I throw away everything. I love to clean
Makes
out. I love to throw away. I love it. I love trash day. I love
me
cleaning
too.
out. I'm a minimalist, but the trinkets that my kids give me, I have binders full of my own children, but then pool kids that bring me things, I keep all those stuff, all those. I have little painted rocks kids come with. I have all kinds of stuff. So that represents water to me. My swim family definitely represents water to me. And so those things are meaningful.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I throw everything away. I have a bench sitting outside right now that I'm hoping someone comes to get for free.
For, yes. I got to help a coworker of my husband's who just is widowed and she's like in her 80s. I don't know. She has to move. So I got to go help her clean out her whole entire house. And my husband's like, "You're like in heaven." I said, "Oh, yes, I am." She was the best old lady too. I loved her to pieces. But it was so fun to go put her stuff on the curb and with a big sign that says free and watch it get taken away. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like my dream.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
Julie, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I think this conversation is very meaningful and I feel like will touch a lot of hearts and different souls. Do you have anything for me?
Just, I really appreciate getting to know you and having this conversation with you. I appreciate that you are have this added level and platform that you're using to be able to help swim instructors and families and whoever might chime in to listen. I think that's amazing. And I'm excited to have Atticus back this season. I'll have to let you know how it goes. And he has a new baby
Yeah.
sister, Penelope, and
Mhm.
she's coming. And so, yeah, Leanna is great. And I love that we get to share swim kids that way. I will definitely be in
Thank
touch.
you.